Hey y'all, welcome to another Saints pregame live chat powered by NOLA.com. My name is Jeff Nowak, NOLA.com's digital sports producer. Sorry, I bumped the mic there. We're here to talk about Saints Eagles, 3:25 p.m. Week 14 on Fox. As you probably are aware, the Saints are without Drew Brees yet again for the fourth consecutive week. Taysom Hill will be getting the start at quarterback. And the Saints will get their own look at a mobile young quarterback in Jalen Hurts. He is getting the start in place of Carson Wentz this week. Carson Wentz is not hurt. He has just been ineffective, and he will not be playing. He will be on the bench for the Eagles. And as strange as it is for the Saints to have to scout for a guy that they probably didn't expect earlier in the season, this is actually not unusual at all when it comes to the Saints facing off with the Eagles. Dating back to 2006, the matchup in 2006, the Saints have faced a different quarterback than they saw in the previous game. This will make the 9th consecutive matchup with the Eagles. Twice, that actually was a regular season matchup and a postseason matchup where different quarterbacks played. That started in the 2006 season. Donovan McNabb played the regular season matchup, and then the Saints won 27-24. And then Jeff Garcia actually played in the playoff matchup. The Saints won again 27-24. Fast forward to 2018. Carson Wentz started the regular season matchup. If you remember, the Saints won that game going away 48-7, I want to say. I might have to look that up. I believe it was 48-7. And the playoff matchup, sorry, I got a little distracted there. In the playoff matchup, Nick Foles got the start, and the Saints won again. So here we are again 2 years later, and it is a different quarterback in Jalen Hurts than the one they saw in that playoff matchup. And it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I did a little scouting of Jalen Hurts this week. I came away impressed with what he did, but we can talk about that a little later. First, I want to get y'all score predictions. Please leave them in the chat. Throw any comments, questions, concerns, photos of your cat, whatever you want to throw in there. Throw them my way, and I'll see if I can get to them live, and we can go over them a little bit. I'm going to go over some expert predictions from our beat writers and our columnist, and we'll go over a few more details. As you can see to my right, left, I don't know. It's mirrored on the live chat, so I always get kind of turned around. As you can see, I have our homepage up here. If you want to get any more Saints coverage, go to NOLA.com, NOLA.com/sports/Saints. If you're looking for that specifically, follow us on Twitter at Saints Now. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. You can find us pretty easily if you just search Saints and NOLA.com. You can follow me on Twitter, as it says below, at Jeff_Nowak. I'm going to be switching into game mode here pretty shortly, and that's a good spot to go find some of that content. But I'm going to pop into this post really quick so we can go through some numbers, some expert picks, and the like. The Saints are favored in this game, as they will be in most of their games. The Saints have won 8 games in a row, and the Eagles are flagging 3-8-1. I believe is their record now. They have that tie with Joe Burrow when the Bengals are, I want to say it was week 1, maybe week 2. Early in the season, they had a tie with the Bengals, and they, in an NFC East that is not very impressive, they have not impressed even more than most because they have no excuse in terms of, the Cowboys are without their quarterback, Dak Prescott, so they've struggled, and they already had some issues going in. The Washington doesn't even have a team name. They are the football team, and they also lost their quarterback, and they've managed to fight to 5-7. The Giants have won 4 straight to get to 5-7, and the Eagles are just kind of treading water, still in the divisional race, but not really. It kind of feels like they're out of it. Let's go through this a little bit here. I'm going to make myself smaller so you can see it. Obviously, as we mentioned, the Saints have won 4 straight. Taysom Hill has won all 3 of his starts since taking over for Drew Brees in Week 10. Drew Brees had those 11 broken ribs or cracked ribs, whatever you want to call them, and a collapsed lung that really is going to be tough for him to come back from. There was a report today that he might not be active for Week 15 against the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think that that's anything new, to be completely honest with you, just because you knew all along the Saints were going to rush Drew Brees back, and they never set a timeline that said, Week 15 is going to be when he comes back. That's just kind of the idea, because he's on IR for 3 weeks, and he's eligible to come back this week, and he's not, so you're like, okay, they want to get him in that matchup. But it was always going to be health. It's always going to be when he's ready to go, and they're not going to rush him back just because it's a great matchup with Patrick Mahomes. They're going to bring him back when he's ready. And you have to remember, for the Saints, Week 16 is a Christmas Day matchup on a Friday. So they're going to play the Chiefs, and then you're going to turn around and have a short week and try to bring Breeze back. So if you bring him back week 15, you have to assume he's going to be the starter again week 16, and you immediately have this guy who's coming off a major injury try to turn around and start on a short week. And that's not a great situation either. So I think that actually makes a lot of sense when you consider, okay, you have week 16, week 17, week 16, you get, because it's a short week, you get extra days to recover for the next week. And that would make more sense, but it's all going to be Breeze's timeline. And the good news for the Saints is I think that they have a guy in Taysom Hill that they feel pretty confident in. And whenever Breeze does come back, the experience Taysom Hill is getting right now will be huge in terms of what they can do with Breeze back. The issue with Taysom Hill has always been he gets these one-off quarterback snaps. He doesn't feel confident. He doesn't seem confident. He doesn't go through his reads because he doesn't have experience making those reads. And there was really no way to get them to him without putting Breeze on the bench. And last year they decided to go with Teddy Bridgewater, but this year they went with Taysom Hill. And that means when Breeze gets back and he is the quarterback and you have Taysom Hill come in for 2-3 plays, he's got weeks of experience running those plays against live NFL offenses, starting caliber NFL offenses, which he hasn't ever seen in the preseason. So that's going to be a factor if Breeze gets back healthy and you kind of go from there. But getting back to the Eagles here, series record 17-15. It feels like the Saints have won all of their matchups in the last decade, and it's been pretty close. They're 7-2, dating back to 2003, I believe. And but there were some lean years early on in the Saints history with the Eagles. I want to say they lost 5 in a row in the late 90s, and so we're getting close. They're now one game away from evening the series record with the Falcons, 51-52, and they are one away. You know, if they win today, they'll be one off that. So all those bird teams are coming back to the pack. As I said, they last met in the divisional round of the playoffs 2018, and there are the records. Games on Fox, 3:25 p.m. Should be over the air. Here are a few numbers that we can go through. So number one, obviously, the ranking of the Saints in team defense after the doom and gloom, the sky is falling from in weeks 1, 2, and 3, where they started 1 and 2. This defense, as it seems to every year, has rounded into a number one top-ranked defense in the NFL, and that is remarkable. And I think, you know, you talk about a guy in Dennis Allen who is got to be on the short list for a lot of head coaching opportunities, and every year, at least the last 3-4 years, he's just been on the money as this team gets to the meat of their schedule. That defense is roaring, and it is doing that again. They have only allowed 2 touchdowns since week 10. So that's 3 games. They have allowed 2 touchdowns. Week 10, week 11, week 12. No, I'm sorry, 4 games. They have allowed 2 total touchdowns. And they went, I want to say, 14 consecutive quarters without allowing a touchdown. They allowed a touchdown on the first drive of the game to the 49ers, and they didn't allow a touchdown. The next touchdown they allowed, so that was week 10. The next touchdown they allowed was in the fourth quarter against the Falcons in week 13. They held the Falcons without a touchdown in their first matchup, week 11. They held the Broncos without a touchdown in week 12 for obvious reasons. They didn't have a quarterback, but still impressive. And that includes defensive touchdowns. Like, you would still count that against the defense, and they haven't allowed any of those either. It's been remarkable to see the turnaround this team has had. They're getting Janoris Jenkins back today. That's a big piece. So they have Marshawn Lattimore and Janoris Jenkins in action again. It's been kind of a guessing game which one of them is going to be out. There have been several games where one or both of them have missed, and to get those guys back, especially after Janoris Jenkins had that, kind of scary knee injury is a big thing. Going forward, number 2, Jalen Hurts, quarterback, Eagles. He's a guy to watch closely, obviously. It'll be interesting to see how the Eagles try to use him, if they try to get him in some RPO action, try to roll him out. I think they will. I think you're going to see Jalen Hurts get outside the pocket quite a bit today. And it'll be on the Saints to be disciplined and not allow him to get running lanes up the middle. Anytime you go from a pocket quarterback to a guy who wants to run, who wants to get upfield, you have to change your rush style. You can't just fly upfield with abandon and hope you tackle him. You have to be, you have to treat it kind of like a Michael Vick, or even you have to treat it like other teams have to treat Taysom Hill right now, where you have to contain and keep him in the pocket and make him be a passer. And if you get to him in the process, that's great. But you have to be aware that he is always capable of getting outside the pocket. He scrambled 7 times last week. none of those were designed runs. He ran 7 times. He got tackled behind the line 3 times, and he had some nice gains 2 or 3 times. So that's going to be a big part of today. And if he's able to do that well, and the Eagles are able to control time of possession, the Saints could struggle in this one. 10.5. That is how many sacks Trey Hendrickson has this season. Number 3 in the league. He was tied for first a few weeks ago at 9.5, and he's slowed down a bit. But Cam Jordan has come on strong. Marcus Davenport's in there, back healthy today. And, just having the 3-headed kind of monster, along with Sheldon Rankins and David Onyemata in the inside, it's really not a surprise that this team holds up well in the running game and holds up well just overall when you have those ball-hawking corners on the outside too. And then 29, that is the rank of Philadelphia's total offense. They're averaging just that. That is not correct. We should probably fix that typo. It's 18.8 points per game, not 318.8, which would be pretty impressive. Going back after that, so we have some predictions here. All 3 of our picks people, our 2 beat writers, and Amy, Justin, Luke Johnson, and our columnist Rod Walker are all confident. Amy has it 27-9. Luke has it 33-17. Rod has it 20-10. All 3 have the Saints winning pretty easily. I think the Saints are going to get pushed today more than a lot of people are expecting. What you gain when you put a guy like Jalen Hurts in is someone who can create first downs where they didn't exist previously. He's going to get upfield and get you in short second and third down opportunities, which will allow you to stack first downs and extend drives, which will keep Taysom Hill and the Saints offense off the ball and keep the scoring low, make it difficult for the Saints to just drive the Eagles off the field. And if Jalen Hurts can avoid turnovers, if he can play with poise in the pocket and not get rattled by the pressure, I think that he has the ability to make life difficult on the Saints. I would put this I think this is going to be a tie game at some point in the third quarter. I think the Saints pull away late. I think they win by a touchdown, maybe 28-21, and they stand up on the defensive end in the fourth quarter and make life really difficult on Jalen Hurts. But that's my prediction. I'll get to y'all's in a minute. I'll just scroll down to this graphic, and we can look at the playoff field. Obviously, the Rams have already played this week. They're 9-4. It looks like the Bucs are going to win. I lost track of that score. But the Saints are still in control of the NFC. So let's go through some of y'all's score predictions and see what y'all think. Yeah, we have Jerry here, Saints 45, Eagles 14. I really think this game is going to be low scoring. You have 2 teams that are trying to take the air out of the ball. Just because of how you run the offense, they are not going to be explosive offenses with these guys in there, because that's just not how you would run an offense with a guy like that. They might hit big plays, but I think generally you're going to see long drives, and you're going to see not a ton of possessions. This is not going to be a game where there's 15 scoring opportunities. This is going to be a game where you have to capitalize on the opportunities you have. And I think that's what's going to set the Saints apart, because they have just more guys who can execute. The Eagles wide receivers are okay. Average, I would say. At best, Travis Fulgham is probably their best weapon at the wide receiver position, and he's a bit inconsistent. He had a really nasty drop last week. He didn't do Jalen Hurts any favors. Greg Ward is another guy they're going to target down the field. He has a habit of just running out of bounds on his routes before he actually gets thrown the ball, and that's not helpful when you're a quarterback trying to make a play down the field. And obviously, you have the 2 tight ends. You have Zach Ertz, you have Dallas Goedert. It was interesting last week to watch how the Eagles operated with Jalen Hurts, because they ran 100% of their snaps out of the shotgun. I went through all 26 of Jalen Hurts' snaps, plus the 2 penalties that made them negated the plays. They ran all 28 of those snaps out of the shotgun. They ran all 28 of those snaps out of 11 personnel, which is 1 running back, 1 tight end. And it was strange to see a team with they're probably the 2 best playmakers on offense at the tight end position not have both of them on the field at any point in the second half. They were playing from behind. They wanted to stretch the field, but I don't think you're going to see that today. I think you're going to see a lot more 12 personnel. They've run more 12 personnel than any team in the NFL, and that's 1 running back, 2 tight ends. And it's a stronger formation. It's going to help them in the run game. I don't know how much you're going to see Jalen Hurts line up under center, but I imagine he will at least somewhat. Obviously he's going to run a majority of his snaps out of the shotgun, but it would really be difficult for Miles Sanders and the running game in general if he's operating out of the shotgun the entire game. Okay, let's go through. Let's find some more. Saints 61, Eagles 10. Now that is optimistic. That is a score that I think you could see if Jalen Hurts self-destructs, throws 3 interceptions, throws a pick 6, fumbles, that sort of thing. I don't think you're going to see that. He seems like a guy who will hold up under pressure. I was very impressed with how he held up against the Packers, who are a good defense. They have really good man corners, and they threw the kitchen sink at him. And they got him a couple times, but he got them too. And he had a really nice touchdown throw to Greg Ward. He has a good deep ball. He hit Jalen Reagor, another guy who, can beat you if you let him get up on top of you. If he can get through on his big play, he made a 34-yard catch against the Packers where he beat press coverage with a nice swim move, and Jalen Hurts hit him. He identified the man-to-man coverage and threw it over the top, and I think you could see that today. I'm going to scroll down here and get to the live feed so you can get some updates. And let's keep going. Fly Eagles fly. We got an Eagles fan in here. Or Fly Eagles flew. That sounds unpleasant. Fly Eagles flew. That's maybe that'll be our headline after the game. Who knows? Charlie Petrie 27-10 Saints. I think that's a more reasonable score. I don't think the Saints, the same way they didn't score a ton of points against the Broncos, obviously they got the 31, but it was a low-scoring game until it kind of broke open with some of the turnovers. I think it's going to be a similar game to that. You're not going to have to score quickly, and you're going to want to control the ball, and that's going to keep the score down unless, as I said, there's a lot of turnovers, and that's a wild card in any game. He corrected it. He meant Fly Eagles fly. We're going to go with the original one. This is their new catchphrase, Fly Eagles flew. Thanks, John. Thanks for joining in, John. I appreciate it. Karen Brown Lewis, 30-17 Saints. I think obviously this is a Saints live chat and there's going to be a lot of confidence. And I haven't seen anyone picking against the Saints yet. And I don't think there will be a lot of people picking against the Saints nationally either. Is this where I can watch the game at? No, this is not where you can watch the game at. We are talking about the game. The game is on Fox, 3:25 p.m. Check your local listings. Wow, as an Eagles fan, I'm the first like. Happy to have you, Joseph. Happy to have you. This is on YouTube, Facebook, multiple Facebook accounts. So if you're on YouTube and you don't see a lot of people around there, I apologize, but hey, that's life. Brandon chiming in. Alex Collins Jenkins chiming in. Let's see. Kathy thinks 24-10. Difference is Washington and New York have coaches that know how to manage a team, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think Doug Peterson is a good coach. Straight up, I think Doug Peterson is a very good coach, a very good offensive coach. He is schematically one of the best out there. They are consistently in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know how bad of a coach you can be to win a Super Bowl and get back to the playoffs. I want to say the next 2 years. They won the Super Bowl and they made it back the next 2 years. They won a playoff game in 2018 before losing to the Saints. Doug Peterson is not the issue with the Falcons, the Eagles. The issue is the roster construction. If you want to blame the GM, that's one thing, but whether he has managed the roster he has very well, that's a different question. But Doug Peterson is not the problem with the Eagles. The Eagles are the problem with the Eagles. I honestly want to see Hill play the Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if he gets out there, because that's a game where you look at the first three and you look at this one and you're like, well, these aren't premier matchups. Obviously the Falcons are a rivalry, but they just aren't putting out the type of production that you feel like, oh, this is a really good test for Taysom Hill. And to be fair, those were good tests for him, but you want to see him go up against an elite NFL team, a team that is fighting for the playoffs, and you just haven't seen that yet. The Broncos obviously didn't have a quarterback. The Eagles have all sorts of issues, and they have a rookie starting. And I think seeing him against a team like the Chiefs and kind of going toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes will tell you a lot about whether he is seriously the quarterback that you feel confident in going forward. He's on a 2-year contract, so he will be back next year one way or the other. But there are a lot of questions in terms of whether he's going to be the guy that you commit to. And that would be a really great audition for him, regardless of how it turns out. I think it would be a great audition, a learning experience, and it would be And if he comes out and wins that game, it's a big shut the hell up to anyone who's still out there saying that he's not a quarterback, which I don't understand how you can watch what he's doing and say he's not a quarterback. But nope, Fox, check your local listings. Ooh, who dat from San Diego? Thanks for joining, Taryn. Happy to have you. Yeah, I agree with this. I agree with this, Charlie, as you said before. It's going down. It's weird how our D is still starting off every year. Yeah, I don't know if it's an issue with the defense. It's an issue with there was no preseason this year, so I think that a lot of times you'll see the defense have a rough opening game, a rough season opener. You saw that against the Bucs a couple years back where they got just torn apart by Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then they settled in and were this kind of elite unit. You saw the same thing last year with the Texans in week 1, kind of tore the Saints to shreds a little bit with Deshaun Watson. And then they settled in, by week 4, they were holding the Cowboys to 12 points. And I don't know. I think that's just a sign of a defensive structure and a defensive coordinator that is really good at adjusting on the fly and making reactions to what he sees throughout the season. You don't have tape in week 1. You're kind of just going on instinct. You're relying on your base sets, and you're seeing what happens. As you get into week 7, 8, 9, 10, you have tape. You have tendencies. You see what the quarterback has done. You see these plays that they've been running out, what's been successful, what has not, what the skill players can do, how the offensive line can hold up, and you're able to adjust and create situations that are beneficial for the defense. And I think that when you see a team that struggles early in the season versus a team that gets that seems to get better the longer the season goes, that's a sign of a team and a roster that understands how to scout, how to prepare, and that's why you see them improve. Obviously, you'd like to see them be good from week 1, but sometimes it takes a little while, and the preseason, I think, not having that is just that tune-up is what caused it to stretch out into like week 3. But as you can see now, they're the number 1 ranked team. Let's go down further. We're going to come to the end here soon. I don't want to keep you too close to game time for all of y'all watching. I appreciate everybody hanging around. I'm in South Dakota, and I pray we get the game here. Y'all pray with that. I need it. I don't know, Bernard. I didn't check the South Dakota listings. I imagine this game is going to be the Fox game of the week, but you don't quote me on that. TVGuide.com is usually where I would go to check. Are you expecting to see more blitzes from the secondary today? So when you say the secondary, it's kind of a weird thing with the Saints because they run so much nickel. And so when you're blitzing a safety, it's not always, it might be that nickel cornerback or that nickel safety in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson who that's not necessarily you're blitzing from the secondary and you're leaving someone wide open, like you're blitzing a corner and you're hoping a safety can get over the top, but you're still bringing extra pressure, but it's more like blitzing a linebacker. I don't think the Saints are going to give Jalen Hurts quick read options. I don't think they're going to blitz on the 3-step passing game because that's how the Eagles are going to want to get him in a groove early on. I think they're going to just play a lot of man-to-man. They're going to shift late. I think you're going to see some disguised coverages to try to catch him off guard. When I watched his snaps against the Packers, his biggest issues came when the Packers showed man, they showed pressure, and then they kind of had a late zone drop. And what Hurts was expecting to see as he went to take the ball was not what he saw when he dropped back. And he made a few misreads. He misidentified, what he should be throwing to in a man concept versus a zone concept. And he missed a touchdown on one play. He missed a big gain to Zach Ertz on another. And I think that's what you're going to see from the Saints rather than, sending just crazy pressure because, like I said, he wants to be able to escape the pocket anyway. And the Eagles' offensive line is kind of rough to watch. You want to keep him in the pocket and force him to make reads and see if he can do that. And then if he does, if he starts eating up that space in zone coverage, then you might send some pressure and kind of give him a different look. But I don't think you're going to see that to start the game. I don't know about that. I think Davenport has his spot on the roster. You got to remember they're probably not going to be able to pay Trey Hendrickson. And I think Davenport should have another year on his rookie deal, so I'm pretty sure he'll be back one way or another. And the issue with Trey Hendrickson playing so well is he is up for a new contract next year, and he's going to make some money. And I don't know if the Saints are going to be able to pay him. 10-10.5, final 27-10. I can see that. All right. Who is Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts. If you remember Jalen Hurts, former Alabama quarterback, he is the one who got replaced by Tua Tagovailoa in the championship game against Georgia a few years ago. He transferred to Oklahoma, finished his college career there. He was actually the quarterback for Oklahoma in the Peach Bowl loss in the college football playoff semifinal to LSU last year. He was another Heisman candidate. If you look around the NFL, Oklahoma transfers or quarterbacks that transferred to Oklahoma are all over the place. Kyler Murray is starting for the Cardinals, Baker Mayfield starting for the Browns, and now you have Jalen Hurts starting for the Philadelphia Eagles. I almost forgot who we were playing there. And hey, you want to make the NFL and be a Heisman candidate? Transfer to Oklahoma. That's what I've learned. And their coach is the coach Cliff Kingsbury. The former Oklahoma coach is now the coach of the Cardinals. So, yeah. Who are beating up on the Giants 26-7 right now. Okay, we're talking about Janoris Jenkins, but you said Jenkins. That reminds me. One subplot from today, Malcolm Jenkins returns to Philadelphia, where he spent the last 7-8 years, won a Super Bowl, and, was always a fan favorite there. I don't think he wanted to leave Philadelphia so much as he wanted to go back to New Orleans and get a Super Bowl run with the team that he won a Super Bowl with early in his career. And I think that there's going to be a lot of emotions for him today. The Philadelphia mayor actually sent an email saying, I'm not going to be rooting for your team today, but I do appreciate what you've done for the city and what you've done in social justice issues. And I think that's kind of cool. I wouldn't be surprised if they have some sort of tribute video to him in some way. But I think that's a cool thing. That'll be something to watch. Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Davenport was a first-round pick, so he's got 4 years guaranteed and then a fifth-year option. They'll have to decide before next season if they're going to pick up that option. So that's going to be the question, more so than is he coming back. It's, do you believe in him enough to give him that solid contract? Pass rushers get paid, and you have to pay him, I want to say, at an average of the top 12 salaries at the position. And that's going to be the question next season, more than will he come back. Do you think we sit out Drew next week or play him? It's all about health. If Drew Brees is healthy, he's going to play. If he's not 100%, and you take into account that it's going to be a short week, you're going to play on Sunday. I want to say it's Sunday. I don't think it's a Monday. You're going to play on Sunday and then turn around and try to play again on Friday and Christmas Day. It wouldn't surprise me if Drew Brees plays week 15 and then Taysom Hill plays week 16 against the Vikings on that short week. Because to me, that is a bigger issue than when does he play. It's how do you navigate those final 3 weeks of the season knowing you have that weird Friday start. And I think that might be a way to do it. If he does come back week 15, that he sits or plays limited snaps and you give Taysom Hill the run in week 16. I don't know. That's just me. That's not coming out of anywhere official, but I think that's something that you need to keep in mind when you talk about Drew Brees coming back is he healthy enough to come back? And then is he healthy enough to play 2 games in 6 days? 5 days? 6 days? I mean, more or less. From Sunday to Friday, you have 2 football games, and that's going to be tough. And the Vikings are going to get after him. He's going to take hits in that game. They always rush the passer well. And that's the bigger question. As much as you'd like to see Drew Brees against the Chiefs and against Patrick Mahomes and kind of that measuring stick game, you got to look at the larger picture. Yeah, I don't want to get too much into contract stuff because I don't have numbers in front of me and it would just be kind of going all over the place. I think I've gotten to the end of the questions here. And I'm going to let you go because it's 3 o'clock. We got about 25 minutes to kick off. Again, my name is Jeff Nowak, NOLA.com's digital sports producer. You can follow me on Twitter at Jeff_Nowak. Also, go to our YouTube account. If you got time before the game, I did a pretty long-form Jalen Hurts film study that I've kind of talked about today. I broke down all 28 of his snaps against the Packers and I kind of went through what to look for. And if you're running out of time, you can set that speed a little higher and hear me talking like a mouse on helium and get through that and kind of get an idea beforehand. One of the things to look at, and let's go through this real quick, actually, because I have that right here. And one play that I think I want everyone to look out for is this middle RPO that the Eagles ran. Let's see. See if I can get it. Let's see if I can do this in a way that isn't annoying. Shouldn't hear the sound on this. Is this it? Did I get it? This is it. Look at this. I didn't even timestamp when I got it. Okay, so it's a middle RPO, and this is something the Saints don't run, and I think the Eagles will run this against the Saints today. When you look at a lot of the Saints plays, there's a tendency to say, oh, this is an RPO. Either you're misidentifying a read option, which is a run to the edge, or you are looking at something that is a designed run or a designed handoff and thinking, or a designed pass, I should say, and thinking that it's an RPO. But really, it's a design play. This is an actual post-snap option where you can see Jalen Hurts right here. He is staring down the middle linebacker. And he's doing that because he's trying to see if that linebacker is going to commit one way or the other. And so basically, if that linebacker commits on the run, he's going to hit Zach Ertz on a route in behind him. If that linebacker sinks up the middle, he has the option to hit a dig coming in behind it. And if he kind of sits there, then he's going to hand it to Boston Scott. If you remember, Boston Scott plays for the Eagles now, on the strike handoff. And that's what he does here. And you'll see this play actually go for 26 yards before it gets called back for a hold. And the reason he's able to do that is because just by holding that linebacker in the middle of the field, you create a run to the edge that the linebacker can't make. And by delaying, you also have this blocker get up to be able to cover the second level and make a block on the second level to create that lane. And that's something that the Saints will have a hard time covering if the Eagles try to break this out and they don't play with discipline. So let's skip ahead here. All right. I'm talking on the video, but you can't hear it. I should have timed this out better, but it should start here. You can see my talking head here in the corner. Here we go. So this is the play itself. You can see he handed it off, and you have the linebacker. He was held in the middle of the field, and look at the run he has to make to get to this. So you have this blocker was able to pull around and get upfield. You have this blocker from the edge pulling out to get this block, and he's the guy who holds on the play. It's not much of a hold, but it's enough that you can't complain about it. And you can see the hole that is created just because that RPO held this linebacker in the middle of the field. And this is a play that I would be surprised if you don't see multiple times today in terms of just forcing the defense to be wrong, even if they were right initially. And you'll probably see it with a guy like Boston Scott. So keep an eye out for him. If you remember Boston Scott, he was a play action or a practice squad with the Saints at Louisiana Tech 2-3 years ago. I can't remember. He didn't make the final cuts, but he latched on with the Eagles the last couple of years, and he's played pretty well. So it's good to see Boston Scott make an impact there. And so this is a play that I think you're gonna look for and you're gonna see, and it's gonna be interesting to see how the Saints manage it. But that's it. I'll let you go on that. Again, Jeff Nowak, NOLA.com's digital sports producer. We have Saints Eagles coming at you in about 20 minutes on Fox. Check out NOLA.com/sports/Saints for any Saints pregame content coverage. We got live updates. We got a scoreboard. We got everything. And again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for everyone who dropped in a comment, and we'll see what happens. Peace.